Hello, and welcome to a new episode of NSPE's Committee Corner. I'm your host, Margaret Edwards, and this week we are going to be talking about the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee, their oversight of FERC, and look at all of this through the lens of a September 28th ENR hearing on this topic. So before we talk about the hearing, let's talk about the committee itself. The Energy and Natural Resources Committee, or ENR, is under the leadership of Chairman Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia and Ranking Member Senator John Barrasso of Wyoming. The committee is made up of 10 Democrats and 10 Republican members, and that it stems from the 50-50 ratio in the overall Senate. And so that's why there's equal Democratic members and equal Republican members on the committee. It is split up into 4 different subcommittees. So there's the Energy Subcommittee, the National Park Subcommittee, the Public Lands, Forests, and Mining Subcommittee, and the Water and Power Subcommittee. The full committee has jurisdiction over legislative and oversight responsibilities for the national energy policy, nuclear waste policy, privatization of federal assets, territorial policy, and outdoor recreation, among other ad hoc issues. A fun fact that I found about the ENR committee that I want to share with you today is that the first version of the ENR committee was the Public Lands Committee that was created in 1816 to supervise the laws relating to the settlement of the Louisiana Territory, which was the land that the United States acquired as part of the Louisiana Purchase. So, before talking about the hearing still, let's take a step back and talk about the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, or FERC. FERC is an independent agency that regulates the interstate transmission of natural gas, oil, and electricity. FERC also regulates the natural gas and hydropower projects. FERC's mission, per their website, is economically efficient, safe, reliable, and secure energy for consumers. FERC is a commission of up to 5 commissioners. Right now, there are only 4 on the commission, and the current commissioners are Chairman Commissioner Richard Click, Commissioner James Danley, Commissioner Allison Clements, and Commissioner Mark Christie. I do want to note that President Biden has nominated a 5th commissioner to FERC, who is Willie Phillips Jr. He's currently the chair of the DC Public Service Commission. And since he's been nominated by the president, he's still awaiting his confirmation hearing and confirmation vote by the full Senate. But once that process gets moving along, there will then be 5 commissioners on FERC. So now we can finally talk about the hearing, since we've talked a little bit about some background for the committee, as well as a little bit of background knowledge on FERC. On September 28th, the Senate ENR committee held a hearing to review the administration of laws within FERC's jurisdiction. At the hearing, FERC commissioners appeared together on the panel to discuss laws found under their jurisdiction, mainly focusing on the Federal Power Act and the Natural Gas Act. As part of any congressional hearing, the panelists do receive time to make an opening statement. And Commissioner Click, who is the chair of FERC, as I mentioned earlier, laid out 5 priority areas for FERC's work. And those are building the transmission grid of the future, modernizing electricity market design, updating FERC's natural gas certificate policy statement, safeguarding the reliability of the electric grid, and facilitating more inclusive decision-making process. In their opening statements, all of the commissioners, in addition to kind of laying out any separate priorities from the chairman of the commission, all acknowledge the evolving energy landscape and the need for FERC to be able to adapt to this change within their work, within the priorities, and within their focus areas for the coming year or span of time. And then, so you might be asking yourself, what does this have to do with NSPE and, professional engineers? So NSPE does have a position statement on energy and a policy position on energy, and then a position statement here, which is our unified energy policy. And within this position statement, it reads that NSPE supports a balanced approach to domestic energy development and delivery that safely, reliably, and efficiently minimizes the nation's reliance on foreign sources. The strategic objective of this approach is to provide reliable and cost-effective energy while protecting the public health, safety, and welfare, taking into account the full life cycle costs and environmental impacts of all energy sources. NSPE advocates for the inclusion of professional engineers in the development and execution of this approach in all engineering aspects of energy production, energy delivery, and energy conservation and efficiency. So, right now, kind of why we're following this, we have a position statement. This is obviously an issue that matters to NSPE as an organization. And right now, there's nothing actionable quite yet for us to take related to FERC and any of their priorities, but having their priorities in mind as legislation is written or regulations are created around energy and energy issues and sub-issues, that we're there to make sure that the PE voice is heard and the PE voice has a seat at the table. If we think about FERC's mission, which was to create economically efficient, safe, reliable, and secure energy for consumers, like it sounds relatively familiar to what is written in our energy policy here at NSPE. We want to have it is the strategic, it reads here, the strategic objective of this approach is to provide reliable and cost-effective energy while protecting the public. So like hearing those like similarities between, the mission of FERC and, NSPE and like, our mission to make sure that, mission and vision to ensure that, engineering decisions are being made by, qualified individuals. There's a lot of overlap. So it's certainly something that we're going to be paying attention to as time moves on, and as further actions are taken. You can count on us to bring you in the loop as our professional engineers members to take advantage of any opportunities that there are to ensure that the PE voice is heard. So with that, before kind of closing with my usual end of episode spiel, I do want to note that this hearing and all of the hearings that we cover here in the committee corner are available to be watched, by the public. They're on the individual committee website. So today you would go to the Energy and Natural Resources Committee website, and you can go and find this hearing and watch the whole entire thing, because there's topics that are that are covered in a 2-hour hearing that we don't really have the time to cover in a 10 or so minute episode. So if you have any interest in learning a bit more about FERC and its priorities, like I encourage you to go and watch the hearing, watch part of the hearing, to really get more of a taste for what happened at the hearing. So with that, please be sure to tune in next time to the Committee Corner. You can find us on the NSPE Advocacy Center or on the NSPE YouTube page. Thank you.